You will only really see what someone's truly like when you start to have conflict. When you are avoiding those hard conversations, when you're avoiding that conflict, you're betraying yourself and your partner. You are already betraying them because you are pretending that everything is okay by not addressing everything when it's not. Then be okay with being done. You are okay to be done, because the loss of staying somewhere that's really unhappy is far greater than the pain of being single.
Well, hello, Cindy. Oh my goodness. Let me just tell you how excited I am for the conversation that we're going to have today. And I was thinking about, obviously before we get started, I can't wait to start talking to you. I wanted to read just a little bio about you so the listeners right now, they can understand who Cindy is and the beautiful work that you're doing and the journey that you've been through. And so before we get started, first of all, Miss Cindy, thank you for being here. You look gorgeous.
You as well. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. I'm excited about this conversation today.
Oh, I'm so excited. All right. So let me go ahead. I'm going to grab my little phone. I wrote this down and I'm going to read this first. And then we're going to kind of go from there. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. Here we go. Cindy Stibbard is a certified divorce and relationship coach, a certified divorce specialist, the founder of Divorce Redefined. After experiencing the pain of infidelity and breakdown of her own marriage, she turned that journey into her own purpose, helping others navigate divorce and relationships with clarity and empowerment. Cindy has helped people around the world find the courage to make the hardest decisions, heal from betrayal, and redefine divorce as a path to transformation. Wow. Cindy, I'm telling you, this conversation, first of all, is going to be so important because I also work with a lot of people. And one thing that people really struggle with, Cindy, and have a lot of shame around is divorce. And it's interesting. And it doesn't matter how the divorce happened, either if they left or they got betrayed, whatever happened in the divorce, there's so much shame and hurt around it. But before we even get to that question, can you just share a little bit about you also and really what inspired you to get into this work and how you're just helping so many people, Cindy? Seriously, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I'm 49 this year, turning 50 in December, and I feel like I've just finally found my calling and my purpose. So when you're thinking out there that it's too late or you're too old, you never are. And I think that a lot of us can stay stuck in a really unhealthy, unhappy, soul-sucking relationship or marriage thinking that we've come too far. It's too late. It's too late for me. I can never do what I want to do. But I'm here living testimony that it's never too late. And for me, I'm a single mom of 2 teenagers. My son is in his senior year this year, graduating high school, and my daughter is 2 years behind. And I'm like living my best life with these 2 kids, just trying to savor every single moment. And I've been single in my life for the last 2 years, raising them on my own. I was repartnered after divorce, but I'll go into that story afterwards. And I feel like this is my stride to really, really lean into my passion, really focus on my kids, focus on myself, focus on my people in my life that are important to me, and really find what brings me joy. And you asked what inspired this journey. Well, first of all, my own divorce did, because I did realize how difficult and adversarial that process can be, and how much shame and guilt and stigma is attached to it, that I really wanted to find a way to help people navigate it in a better way. And through doing the training behind that and working with people, what I have come to really kind of lay down in are with those people who are struggling in the decision-making process, because that was me. I was in indecision about my marriage for at least 5 years before I decided what I was going to do about it. And I can tell you that those 5 years waffling and indecision of waking up every day and feeling unhappy and waking up next to someone that you didn't feel at all like you knew anymore, it was the most soul sucking years of my life, until you're actually able to really see clearly and through that fog and make the decision. So those are the people, those are the vulnerable, people that I work with, is those ones that are on the fence. They've been thinking about this for months, if not years, and they are so stuck, feeling lost and almost untethered, just going through life, going through the motions. Groundhog Day is every day, but there's so much guilt. There's so many layers involved in making a decision like this that I really help them, cut through that fog and figure out what is the best decision for them. And sometimes that's not divorce. Sometimes that is going back and working on the things that you haven't even thought of that you needed to do and work on, that maybe therapy hasn't really told you. But as a coach, I feel like I can be far more direct. I'm more of a tough love kind of person. And I'm very good at holding people accountable to the work that they want to do and to find that decision, because otherwise we're living this, half lived or unlived life. And what use is that? And we're not good for anyone that way. We're not good for our kids. We're not good for ourselves. We're not good for anyone in our life if we are not living it fully. So that's really what inspired me to do what I do. Yeah.
That was beautifully said. Wow. I've really, really received that. I felt that.
Thank you.
Cindy, one of the things, honestly, just there's so much that you just said right now that I was like, wow, okay. And one thing that I want to take a little deeper look into is the part that, and it's interesting that you said something, because I wrote something down. I'm going to read something to you, a question I wanted to ask you, and it's really going to go what you just said. I put here, you're known for helping people decide whether to stay or go. What are some of the first signs that clarity is needed?
Right. Well, these signs are typical for most people, but they're not the same for everyone. And so through the process of this decision making, I worked with people for many years, sort of in that almost therapy realm where you're just talking through the decision, right? And you're just kind of getting nowhere. So in the last year, I've created what's called the relationship audit. And it's kind of like a relationship assessment, sort of like this big personality test before your relationship. And we go through the 11 core components of what makes a healthy relationship to really see, first of all, where you're thriving, because there are going to be parts that are good, that are working, which is why you're still there, right? And then there are going to be areas that are breaking down. And why are they breaking down? And what's going on for you? And where have you landed at this point in your marriage, emotionally, mentally, physically? And what does that mean for you? So when I look at specifically for people who are needing clarity, this is when you start to get to this place of doubt about how you really feel about your partner and seeing a future with them. Because the seeing of the future beyond the kids, when they're already flown and grown and they're not with you, can you see yourself in the rest of your life with this person? Meaning also too, are you guys aligned with the kind of future vision that you both have? Have you even had that conversation, right? Because a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, I actually don't really know what my spouse wants to do when the kids are gone. Like who knows? Maybe he wants to sell everything and buy an RV and drive down the coast of California. And you're thinking, no way, like I want a villa in Italy, something. And until you really know, like, where's the future aligned for you, you don't really know if this is going to be the right person to create that future with. So clarity really comes with getting clear, having those conversations. Where do you see us? What do you want to do? What do you envision for ourselves in our life when the kids are gone? And then and then also listening to your body, because I think too, our bodies tell us everything. The moment that we start to get the ick about our partner or really cringe, or our body is like literally repelling them, is the time when you should be taking that seriously. Because this is when this relationship, for one reason or another, and we would uncover what that would be, is not working for you. Your body is where the answers are. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's just this, or it's fine. It's just me, or it's just him, or we're going through a patch. But this is where I think we tend to ignore our intuition, right? And the way that our body responds to these cues.
Yes. The body always knows.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you're saying that, because, if we are in marriages, right? And it's true, marriages are going to go through different stages, because life goes through different stages.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between a marriage going through a stage, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's say a stage of, disconnect, a stage of, I call it like two ships in the night,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it has to do with just life in itself. Of course, if change of jobs, loss of jobs, children, just stages. Life goes through stages, okay?
Yeah.
And we as individuals also will change. We'll change, so not necessarily how we looked at things and felt about things when we first got married. We can change. That's what happens. We get older, we change, and things that maybe we liked at one point in our life, we don't like them so much anymore. So all of
Mm-hmm.
that is natural. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're speaking about today is different. It's not just the regular changes that happen in marriage, because marriages are going to go through life. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
individual people are going to go through life. Things are going to happen. I got it. This is almost you guys, this is really important what I'm about to say. This is, as she said, it's something in the body.
Mm.
It's something like, gosh, on the surface, for the most part, everything looks pretty good.
Right.
But goodness gracious, there's something off, and I can't point my finger on it. Let's go there, Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And this is, yeah. I mean, this goes to we need to call back in our trust and intuition. I mean, this
yes,
goes back to like equating this to, remember when you would go on a first date with someone
yeah,
and you kind of knew whether this was going to go somewhere or not based
100%,
on how you
girlfriend.
feel. And why did we trust that so well back then, right? And we tend to walk away or distance ourselves from that trust now. So trust yourself in terms of like, am I feeling this for this person? I know a lot of people right now on the internet or are saying social media, love is a choice, love is an action. So we choose love and that's what we do. But I believe, yes, that's true.
Yeah,
However, and it needs to come from an inspired feeling that we have for our
I
partner,
love that.
because I think love is a feeling so that we can actually act. If we're only acting based on that love, it's not real, then
That's
what are
true.
we doing? Just faking it till we make it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And relationships to me are in two different phases. The reason that you got together with your partner at the beginning is very different than the reason that you're with them now and the needs that you have. Maybe you got together at the beginning because the clock was ticking and it just seemed to make sense. You guys were good partners and good friends and you wanted to have babies and, everyone knew each other and they clicked with your family and all their friends were in common. And so it just made logical sense to do that together. You knew this person was going to be great to procreate with or build a life with. Maybe subconsciously that was true. And now you've done that. You've built the life. You've raised the kids and you're looking at them thinking, but are you the person who can meet my needs emotionally, romantically, and physically now? Because initially, what we're choosing a partner for is very different at that phase in that chapter of life than what we really need later when all of that work is done. Is this still your go-to person? Is this still the person who brings out your best self? Is this still the person that you want to tell everything to? And you can't imagine not waking up and seeing them every day because they're your person. You're not going to feel that fiery love at the beginning. Let's be honest. It's not going to be there, but you have that deep, compassionate love that I know we're different now. I know things have changed, but I can't envision my life without you.
Without
And
you.
and this is the question I often ask too. If you were to choose again, would you choose the same person at this phase of life?
Wow, that's powerful.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
powerful. Because I do believe, again, and I'm speaking for myself, and I'm going to speak for Cindy, and she can tell me if I'm wrong. But I do believe with all my heart, we both as women, we truly, genuinely honor and believe in marriage,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and the beauty of marriage. But we only believe in the beauty of marriage and commitment if it's right.
Yeah.
What is in your vision when we talk about a healthy relationship? because I know that you get to work with people and they are not in the most healthiest relationships, or they're in a place of like, oh gosh, what happened here?
Yeah.
What is a healthy relationship? So the audience and the listeners, they really can understand what we're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the first and foremost thing of a healthy relationship is having emotional safety. And what that means,
Oof,
is,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
can I
yes.
take all of my stuff to my partner, my
Oh,
biggest
you just
fears,
gave me goosebumps, Cindy. Oh
right?
my goodness, that's your answer already. Sorry, I'm like,
Yes.
I had no idea what you're gonna say, but wow,
Yeah.
that's
Because
I was
if,
like, oh, that's me. Okay, good.
if you
Okay,
can't be like your nakedest, ugliest, most vulnerable, most scared,
there you
most
go.
flawed self, and
There you
have your person look at you and
go. Oof.
hold space for that and not judge you and not use it against you
Mm.
and not dismiss it or ignore it, that is your person, right? That's
Oof.
emotional safety. And so many of us, I think, really young, until you get to be, I don't know, I'm seeing hopefully young people learning this now more and more.
No, it's just the
When
message.
we
We
are,
got to get the message out there for sure.
yeah, when we are so led by our egos really young, we take everything so personally. We take our partner's experience so personally, of maybe something I did or said hurt them. We immediately put our walls up, we get defensive. And then what we do in that moment is we create emotional unsafety by shutting them down, by dismissing them, by telling them you're too much, you're being dramatic, you're being crazy, blah, blah, blah. The moment that we start to behave in that way, we pull back on the safety that our partner feels telling us things. And so what happens when you feel like it's not safe to tell my partner because I, first of all, don't know how they're going to react, or they're going to fly off the handle, or they're going to, flip my words around, or they're going to misinterpret what I'm saying. What do? What's the first thing you do? You stop telling them,
Yeah.
right? And so this is what I've seen happen over time with all of these couples that come to me. They have no emotional safety. They can't be honest. They can't be open. They can't be clear about what they want because their partner immediately internalizes that. They take it like, oh, it's my fault. Like, I'm going to make it personal.
Yeah.
And partly it is, but we need to evolve as humans to see, like, okay, maybe I did do something wrong. Owning it is so big. Also, that's her experience. That's his experience. Why wouldn't I want to, first of all, hear that out? And second of all, try to see if there's something I can do to make their experience better. That's love. I'm not asking
That's
you to
love.
change
No, you're going. Oh,
you,
let me just say this right now. You got me hyper right now, Cindy. Girlfriend, I don't know what's going on with me right now. I'm like, I can't even stay still.
Right?
Listen to me. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Listen, you're going to get in a relationship. No one's going to be perfect. It's going to be this and it's going to be that. But it really is, if we're going to get ourselves in a romantic relationship, get married to somebody for the rest of our life, we should absolutely be with someone that we feel safe with, vulnerable with, and that we can be our real selves, because life is going to keep happening and we need that. We need that, because if we don't have that, you know what's going to happen? Oh my goodness. You're constantly going to feel that like, oh, something's off, something's that's not right. Like there's just this complete, how do you say it, Cindy? Just this uncomfortableness, this scares, like, it's like not yourself, like just shutting down, not being vulnerable, not feeling safe. That has to be the core.
It really, really is. And you know what else happens when you
Tell me.
aren't able to be emotionally safe in your relationship? This is the biggest door to emotional infidelity. This is why people often look outside the marriage, because I can't be my open, honest, flawed, too much self with this person because they just shut me down. And so I need someone to see me. And so what is the first thing someone, like, when they feel seen and they feel heard by someone else? Oh my God, right? Wouldn't you prefer that to be your partner? Most of us, yes. But when it's not, this is when, it becomes really vulnerable. And we're creating that environment. We're creating that a relational environment by not providing our partners emotional safety. Both of us in the relationship.
No, it's both, because, when we talk about emotional safety, it absolutely has to go both ways. Because if you're in a relationship, and this is something that is so important, you guys, and really what it comes down to also, yes, you need that in your partner, but that partner needs that in you. And you need to show that partner, you need to show them that they also have space to be themselves, that you are not going to be a person when they are, having their moments or talking, that you are not going to just, poo-poo all over them. Like, it has to go both ways, 100%.
Yeah.
And
And this even goes to those moments where, like, maybe they've done something in the past that they, you've forgiven them, or you say you've forgiven them and you've gotten over it, you've healed. Maybe it's something, even infidelity in the past, you're getting over it, but you are ruining it every single time you re-bring it up. It's done. That trust is now destroyed again, and you have to start. Because the moment you bring back that past mistake, or you hold it above their head and you use it as leverage, maybe, or ammunition in a fight, just to kind of put them in their place, you are destroying that safety.
You are. And you know what I've learned, and, doing this work for a while, this is something I've learned. Trust and all the things when it comes to trust, that can actually be rebuilt 100%. But you know what it takes? Here you go, guys. Listen to this. It actually takes 2 years of consistent change of behavior. 2 years. First of all, people are like, 2 years? Okay. When trust is already broken, what builds trust is a different way of showing up. They need to see it. They need to see it for 2 years. After 2 years, you guys, you can absolutely, completely change and actually completely have a different view of that person. Okay. Right. But the problem is, I love that Cindy said that. The problem is that people don't give it the 2 years.
Or they don't do the work for the 2 years.
Because they're not giving it. Or they do the work and they think, okay, you know what? I've been good for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the other person's like, okay, buddy, 3 weeks. Okay, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, that's wonderful. But, you can really stick 3 weeks, somewhere else, because it doesn't take 3 weeks to rebuild trust. It actually takes 2 years, Cindy.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about you then. So you were married. You were married before.
Yeah.
And explain, when you got married to your husband, how you felt and what was your thoughts and what did you think?
Yeah. Well, I was very young when I met my husband. I was 17 and he was just about 19. And we met as teenagers. We went our separate ways for a while, and then we came back together. And I think what I had felt was, because I was very young and emotionally unevolved, I was such a people pleaser growing up too. I was that classic oldest child in the family, had to, help be the second mom to everyone, go and get 2 jobs by the time I was 15 so I could, buy myself jeans, because my mom had 3 other younger people to take care of, and my dad worked away a lot. And so I became that toxically independent person. And we grew up with, not a lot of money. And so when I met my ex-husband, he brought that financial safety and stability to my life. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I would love. And I think because I was so afraid of not being chosen by him and not feeling good enough for him, I just people pleased my way into being anything he wanted me to be. I liked the music he liked. I liked the food he liked. I liked the wine he liked. Just to be like that girl, right? And then over time, when you're abandoning your own needs and yourself, and I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I was just like, okay, I'll just, of course, that's so malleable. Yes. Especially when you're young.
Especially if you're young and you're you're a woman, a lot of times you're like, okay, you know what? He likes, the Packers. Well, I guess I like the Packers now, right? Like, he likes country music. Okay, well, country music's cool. We just kind of okay. Yes. Keep going. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Okay.
And if anyone understands or has done any work around what attachment styles are, I grew up in a very disorganized attachment. And so he was very avoidant. I was very anxious. I was constantly chasing and wanting to be chosen. And so would morph into anything he needed me to be. Right. And so over time, we ended up, getting married. And I think that I just abandoned all of my needs. But that was me doing that for him, thinking I was this version that he fell in love with. Right. And so over the years, I just felt so empty, and when I would bring it up, of course, then the emotional safety wasn't there. He would shut it down. Like, why aren't you grateful for this beautiful life that I've provided for you? And to me, it was like, it's not about that. It's not about this beautiful house or whatever you're giving me, or, that I don't have to work. It's more like we're completely emotionally disconnected. And I started learning this more. This started coming more obvious when we had kids, where we just really weren't aligned, or he didn't have really much of an opinion about anything. It was just like I was doing everything on my own and making decisions on my own, and just felt like I was living already on my own. I just wasn't earning the money to pay all the bills.
Got it.
Right.
Wow.
But that was also
in your home. What was that was also what?
And also not my job. So I wasn't, didn't have to earn the money, but I also didn't need to know where it came from or how much we had or anything like that. I was not allowed.
Oh, okay. It's just like, just be happy for what you got, girl. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be emotionally involved with you. I'm just going to provide. So he's totally disconnected. Okay. Yeah. And then, as we said in the beginning, that's pretty much how you went along with him. We kind of went along with him until and this is what happens, ladies, until we wake up and we're like, okay, what are we doing? What's going on?
And we realize how lonely.
Yes.
You realize how lonely and disconnected you are inside your own marriage, right?
Yes.
And when you are already alone in it, what's the point of being in it? Really, it was fear holding me back. Fear, why? Because I hadn't been earning any of my own money. Fear of losing this beautiful lifestyle that I created. Fear of time away from my kids. But all of those things were leaving me so empty and sad and alone that I couldn't be the best version of myself in any part of those pieces of life because I was just so disconnected. And I think a lot of people feel that way, but both men and women feel that way.
Yes. Yes. They get into marriages, again, thinking a certain thing, and then they're in these marriages and they've never have felt more lonely than being in that marriage.
Yeah. And this is because we aren't able to talk. We aren't able to have those conversations. You aren't able to say, hey, I'm feeling disconnected from you, and have your partner say, okay, tell me more about that. How can I help? How can we feel more connected? I did not have that.
You didn't have that.
No.
Now, was that something that you tried with him and you realized quickly, oh, he is not going to talk? Well, this kind of explain that a little bit to us.
Yeah, I think you're either with an emotionally evolved person who's more attuned emotionally than others. And because of an avoidant attachment, it's very much avoidant of any feelings or vulnerability, right? Or anyone else's feelings or vulnerabilities. And so when I think we grew up, especially in my generation, we didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to communicate my needs. I didn't really even know what my needs were. I just knew that I wasn't happy. Where I was, right? Yes. Something's not working. I don't feel seen and heard. And then when you start talking about it, you're told, but you just need to relax. Everything is fine. We'll be fine. You just need to relax. It's more of that where you're not able to really open up and go deeper and have someone say, okay, tell me exactly how you're feeling. Why are we feeling this way? And what can I do to support you? Or what is it that you need? What is it that you need? Even in yourself. Those conversations weren't happening because I didn't choose an emotionally available man at the beginning. And I think this is the problem with a lot of people is they get to this place where, now they've discovered what they want in a partner and what they need. And they're trying to communicate that to their husband or wife.
Okay.
And their husband or wife might be interested in trying to make those changes. And so they're trying to change their behaviors, but you're realizing that it's not enough. Whatever changes you're trying to make, it's not it. I'm not getting it because you're wanting this emotionally available person or this masculine man who takes charge and initiative. You never married that person.
That's right.
They were never that to begin with.
Yes.
So now you're asking them to be a version of themselves that never existed. And so no matter how many things they're going to change, they're never going to be that person. And so it's almost like, oh, I didn't choose that person. So now I need,
girlfriend, you and your nuggets today. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's bringing up something.
Yeah.
Do you know how important that is that you said that? Because if we're in these marriages and we start having these awakenings and we're like, because especially if you get married young, and you're in a marriage, and again, we're not saying this is all marriages. A lot of marriages, let me just tell you this, like for real, this can be happening, but with some tweaks and conversations, you guys can actually get back on track and it can be better than ever. Okay. So I just want everyone to hear that. So don't be thinking if you're in a marriage and you're feeling the disconnect that automatically, your person's is always been unemotional or anything like that. No. This is where the clarity comes. This is where you have to take like an assessment. Like Cindy, what was the name of that assessment again?
The relationship audit.
Yeah. The relationship audit. This is why professionals like Cindy have created things like this. So, you don't have to go, your mind doesn't have to just go, wow. You can slow down, get a little clarity and start breaking this down. Okay. So remember, I don't want anyone to freak out right now. So like, seriously, this is really important. Now, if you are, oh my goodness, I just went blank on what I was about to say. I was getting so excited right now. Tell me the last thing that you just said, where we were just talking about.
I was talking about how the version of themselves, like that personality that you chose.
Perfect. You didn't choose that. Remind me. I got you. Thank you. Really good. Okay. So this is why, again, if you're a single woman and if you've never been married before, or you've been married before, or wherever you're at, okay, if you're a single lady, this is why wholeheartedly we talk about the importance of taking your time to get to know someone, not rushing the process, and really understanding as time goes by, that person, that man that you're getting to know, and you're not going to rush this, he's going to show up. He's really going to start showing up his true self. And what Cindy said was so important, because as you're getting to know the person and you're taking your time before you commit to anybody, they're going to show up. You're going to already see the signs. If this man is emotionally going to be there and handle, can ask you the questions, feel the safety, or you're going to see from the beginning, as you give it time, that, he's not really emotionally there. What? Like, I just had my dog died and this guy is flat as can be.
Right.
Like, think about that. Did you just hear what I just said? I just had my dog die and he's just like, oh, you're going to be fine. Okay. So let's go from there. So it is really, really important that I'm having these conversations, and I created this podcast literally because of this. What she's saying right now is so we don't put ourselves in marriages that we feel so lonely, that we feel like, what in the world did we do? Okay. And now thinking that what Cindy just said, if the guy has never been emotionally available, you guys, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. The guy can, people can grow, people can change, of course, but there's some core things here. Okay.
Which needs to come from their own work, that they're actually acknowledging that they're not emotionally available, or that they run away, or that they shut down, or that they really aren't connected in that way. And unless someone is willing to do that deep inner work of why am I like this, you're never going to be able to get enough of that change out of them. And I think also we marry for circumstance. I work with a lot of people who, maybe were dating for a while and then got pregnant, and they might never have chosen this person, but it just happened. And so now, okay, here we are. And so we're starting a family and we did a life. And now look, now that I'm here at this stage where we did all that, I don't want to choose this person anymore, because you might not have chosen them in the first place had the circumstances not been the way that they were. But I look at that as they were supposed to. God, universe, however, you were supposed to be with this person for that reason. And that's why it happened the way that it did, because that's how it happened. But now you get to choose. You've done that work. You've done that job and that duty and the role. Now, what is it that you're looking for? Because if you're continuing to be resentful and angry and blaming your partner for being someone that they never were, you are causing your own heartbreak in that marriage.
You are. That's really powerful. You're saying that.
Yeah.
So you are in this marriage and you start realizing, oh my goodness, I'm growing up. I'm maturing. I'm realizing, okay, cool, buddy. I'm living, financially a decent life. I have a beautiful home. I'm grateful for that. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I'm grateful for that.
Mhm.
But at this point, I'd rather be alone on an island with the fish pole and, you know what I mean, by myself with my kids than deal with
Yeah.
this emptiness. Is that what was happening to you?
Yeah, and I think a lot of women can get there too as they realize how emotionally disconnected they can be because life is busy. I mean, everyone who's had kids and they've gone through those crazy years know that you don't have a lot of time for each other, right? But I think that you need to make the time. You need to
Yeah.
have the conversations. You need to prioritize your marriage during those hard times.
Yes.
And back to your point for a second about when you said when we're young and we're happy and we're making these choices and taking your time was something that you said, which I think is really important because typically we are happy in the first 2 years, right? And that's where all the big decisions are made. That's when we think, okay, this is perfect. Person is amazing. We get along. No big issues have typically ever happened in the first 2 years. And so we decide we're going to live together or we're going to buy a house or we're going to do all the things and combine. And then when life starts to get real, as it does after 2 years together, then you realize the kind of person they really are. And kids also highlight what kind of person someone is because there's nothing more of a duty and a role and a stressful one at that to play than having children. And so of course you're never going to know what that's going to be like, but having those conversations early on, where are we aligned? What do you think about this? What would you what would you think about education for your kids one day? Because we don't have these conversations enough. And so when we get there, we think, oh, how did I not know this? How are we so different? Why is this not working?
I believe that. I believe two things. I believe that in the beginning, three things. I love that you're saying this. I believe that in the beginning, when you're getting to know someone, it actually takes time. And what I say to everybody, I said, this is how I like to look at it. Okay. So if you're getting to know someone, and the reason why I like the 2 years is because you have to be able to, from the very beginning, like she said, really ask real questions and really start doing the discovery. And what happens when you start asking these questions from the beginning, and you're not going to waste time because you're going to really, like, seriously, you guys, you're going to really just get to the chase. Okay, hey, so listen, buddy, okay, I'm this and who are you? You have to really ask these questions. And we have ways to help people ask these questions because you're not familiar with these questions. So we can help you with that. Okay. So you have to ask the core questions, like Cindy just said.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I believe is you have to give it 2 years, you guys, before you actually get married. I'm telling you right now. Because what happens is you're asking the questions in the beginning, Cindy. And then in the 2 years, you're seeing if the answers that he gave you are matching his actions. Okay. You hear this, ladies? This is how you do it. You're seeing if the answers that he gave you, because he can say whatever he wants to say, but his actions are going to show, because you're already setting the tone from the beginning. You're already saying, okay, listen, this, and this. These are my cores. This is what's important to me. And then the guy's like, oh, yeah, that's me too. I'm really into that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah. Okay. Now we're making sure also, ladies, we don't need to be physical with these guys for a long time. This is where women get it wrong. This is where we get it wrong, because we go too fast into the physical and the touchy, and then when we start touching the guys and they start touching us too early, you guys, I'm telling you right now, this is real what I'm about to say right now. When we start touching too early on, Cindy, and what happens is our bodies, ladies, this is huge. Our bodies will start releasing a chemical. When you do the touchy, our bodies will start releasing a chemical called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a bonding chemical. This happens when you have a baby. This is what mothers bond to their babies. So when you are doing the touchy too quickly to the guy that you actually don't even know, even though he's telling you all the wonderful things you want to hear, when you're doing the touchy too quickly, your critical thinking shrinks. And when your critical thinking shrinks, then the guy looks amazing. And then you're like, oh, this is great. So 2 years, 2 holidays, 2 birthdays, 2 Christmases. But the main thing needs to be this. His words need to match his actions over the 2 years. In those 2 years, if his words are not matching his action, don't even wait the 2 years. Go. You're not going to change him. He's going to show you who he is. But we don't wait 2 years. And we don't ask the
No.
questions in the beginning, and we don't stick by what we said.
Yeah, we get excited, right? And I think the best thing is to have conflict. You will only really see what someone's truly like when you start to have conflict. And a lot of that doesn't happen in the first 2 years. A lot of
No,
that happens
it
when
doesn't happen.
things
You
get
know when it
real.
happens? Can I tell you when it happens? When you get real with
Yeah.
the guy from the beginning. This is it, ladies. Listen to this. When you get real with the guy from the beginning, you already tell him who you are and what you expect and don't expect. And then you see as the action, it'll come up, Cindy, I promise you, in those 2 years, when we get really clear with the guy in the beginning, in those 2 years, it's going to come up. And it's up to you, ladies, what Cindy just said. It is up to you to call it out. Call it out.
And then you'll be able to see how emotionally safe it is when you do
there
that.
You go.
Right?
You got to call it out.
Yeah.
Ladies,
Yeah.
because Cindy, this is the deal. We both have responsibilities in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't
we
you
do.
feel like that's that for a woman. This is why we're having this conversation, because you and I didn't do this at one point in our lives. But now we're just 2 steps ahead. We learned the harder way. And then now we are at a different place because we learned it. But I think this can be avoided.
It can early on. And if you're speaking to your audience is younger and they are in those early stages of relationship,
talk to them,
we can start to do this different now. Right. And I also think, there's five sort of traits that I feel are really important when it comes to long-term compatibility. And one of them is a really healthy amount of separateness, which I think I'm not a big supporter of moving in together too quickly either, because I think that that's combining lives, that you're losing your sense of identity. I think there's nothing more important than you really establishing who you are, who your friends are, what you really are passionate about, what you like to do, your hobbies, your career path. Be on your own. What does that look like for you and how does that feel? You can still be in a relationship, but you don't necessarily have to, just because you're in love, have to combine your lives so quickly. Really the best relationships I've seen is when you have two really solid independent people just choose each other because they want to be together, but they have so much respect for the fact that we have 2 separate lives sometimes too, right? We have a life together, but we also have our own going on.
And you know how sexy that is? No, Cindy, let's talk about that. We got to talk about the sexiness of that. Do you know how sexy that is for both the man and the woman? When you are like falling for someone and you're like, dang, they have such a cool life. Like they're good and solid with their life. Like, you know what I mean? And then how sexy it is that you are like, I'm good. I love my life. And I'm just so looking for someone that we can, like you said, we can choose each other, not based on because we're not happy where we're at, because we want, keep going, Cindy. That's really good.
Yeah. Because we're choosing based on want, not need, right? Not because it's cheaper and you can share rent and, all the things and it's comfortable because you like each other so much and you want to be with them all the time. That will soon become that's where it will become complacent and you'll become codependent on each other. We don't want that codependency, or one becomes far too dependent on the other. And it is so attractive when someone already has a rich, full life.
Yes.
That you just get to, enjoy to and fit into, not because if they don't, who's going to become their rich, full life? You. That's a big responsibility to carry someone's life because now you are the only one in it. This is why, I'm a big lover of romance and stuff like that. But when someone says, you're my everything, I'm like, that is the worst. You do not want to be someone's everything because that means they have nothing else. They have no life. They have no interest. They have nothing. Like,
Cindy, that's even, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. That's so good. Let me just say this. I said this, okay. I had to say this to moms one time because I'm a mom, Cindy. I have 5 kids. And I had to say, it's like I have a lot of kids. And I remember I didn't know and I didn't understand this. You can't actually, don't say that to the kids either. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you tell your children, it's the same thing. No, when you tell your children you're their everything, that's a lot of responsibility for your kids.
Yeah.
They feel that. They're like, oh shit, I'm everything.
They feel responsible for you.
You could, there's a difference between like, I'm a mama. My children, I will literally die for my children. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's it. You know what I mean? So
they're non-negotiable for sure.
There's nobody else, you guys. I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's nobody else that I will literally jump in front of a bus for.
Yes.
Nobody.
Yes.
Not my husband. Nobody. Not because I don't love him. That's not how it works. But I would do that for my children. So that's the love I have for my children. But I'm also so grateful that my children know that, that I love them like that, but I'm okay with not them being my Does that make sense? It's
Absolutely.
too much pressure. It's like, it's not healthy.
Yeah. And then I think that we give them the idea that someone else has to be their everything too.
Yes.
And that if it's not, then you're not in the right relationship. Where I feel like this is when we have to go into relationships with a healthy amount of independence, because when that relationship ever breaks down, you'll notice the people that don't have anything else in their life, they will be the ones that are completely destroyed.
Yes.
Because they've put all of everything on this other person. My identity is on this person.
Yes.
My hopes and dreams are on this person.
Yes.
Like my best friend is on this person. Everything is on this person. And yes, we can have elements of that. But when you aren't solid and secure in yourself, that becomes an attachment. And that's an attachment loss. That's not love. That's I've literally morphed myself into this person and become almost, what's it called? There was the word on the tip of my tongue when you're sort of, it starts with an
immersed.
E. You're, yes, like it's that word. That's, there's a word, right?
You guys are completely immersed in.
Enmeshed.
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 That's it. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. I know it's over there.
Yeah. And people think it's so romantic. We want to do everything together. We want to be everything together. We like to do all of the things. They're my everything, or they're my other half. No, you come fully whole. And until you are fully whole, which typically doesn't happen until you've spent a significant amount of time on your own. You won't be able to find that on your ownness with somebody else. And then you can be the best version of yourself or a good version of yourself into this relationship. And only grow from there. And this is when I tell women, who are too afraid to be alone, like this is the powerful time when you can actually stand alone. All of a sudden, your standards of who you're going to choose in your life next goes up, because you now realize, I have a life. Yes. I filled it. So when I choose to share it with someone, it's because I want to.
It's magical. It's magical. It's this. Yeah. It's incredible. Oh my goodness. I think being single is the best, because that is the time that we can really do some discovery of who we are.
Yeah. And even the hard parts. I mean, I've been single for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Because of my partner, after I divorced, I was with a man for 5.5, and he suddenly passed away. So he had a heart attack and died, and it was very unexpected. I thought we were, creating our next chapter. And so I was forced to do something I literally hadn't done in almost 30 years, going from marriage to a little bit of single time, but not really, because I was that person that was too scared to be by myself. So I jumped into another relationship so fast, and being forced to be single for 2.5 years. And I guess I'm not forced, but I'm now realizing that even the difficulty of being on your own makes you so strong and makes you so much more aware of who you are, what you want in life, what's important to you, the values that matter. And now that I'm dating, I'm more specific with what I'm looking for. It's not because I'm lonely, because the loneliness, I think the weakness of is loneliness, like when that's kind of the weakness of being on your own. But when you get to solitude, which is the strength of being on your own, you realize that, wow, I am good in this life. And I just want to choose the right person to fill that extra time with, because you get to be the stage where I don't have a whole lot of time. My girlfriends are extremely important to me. I just came from lunch with them right now. We see each other every week, if not more. I've got my kids. Those are like the most important people to me. My career, which is serving other people and making that impact. And if I have someone else on the side who just wants to, be part of that, then amazing, but it has to be the right person. Yeah. You're not going to settle at this stage of life.
No, right? No. Yeah. That's the beauty of it, because when you finally get to have that space and really take a deep breath and fill yourself up. That's what I talk about all the time. It has to start, ladies. It really does. Again, here we go. It has to start with you first.
Yeah.
Because absolutely, you guys, we all deserve, like I said earlier, to have great relationships, great love, And really, honestly, absolutely. But it starts with you first.
Yeah.
That relationship with you have with you first. Because it really is true. If you don't have it with you first, I mean, how are you going to give that to somebody else?
Yeah.
But if you have that for you, then, oh my goodness, you can just pour that to somebody else easily. Because
And then you really get to know like who you are. Like, what do
Yes.
I prefer? What do I like my morning routine to be like?
Yes.
Like, how do I like to spend my time? What is really important to me? Because we don't really know that when we're in a relationship. Like, what are my preferences? Do I like to stay up late and watch Netflix? Do I want to go to bed early and read a book? Do I
My
like
early bird, my late bird, what am I? Yeah.
Yes, right? Like you get to figure out what you want. When do I actually like to eat dinner? Do I like to eat dinner? Like,
Yeah,
doesn't matter what I have for dinner. Those types of things are really about figuring out where you are, where your boundaries are. And then you're much clearer on that with someone new. And I think we get so scared of being alone that we tend to jump into relationships so fast and use a human as a band-aid for our pain.
Yeah.
And that is the last thing you want to do. Everyone's so scared of, I don't want to be on my own, but yeah, you actually do. It's so important to be on your own for a while, because if you use someone else so quickly, you're not going to be able to do the healing work and really get to know yourself. And also, our children need to see us okay by ourselves. I remember, I'll tell you a little story,
Okay,
which is when I sort of realized this was like God's assignment to me, or the universal assignment to me, being single. When my partner had passed away, it was a real shock to everyone. And when I left my marriage, my kids were young. They were 7 and 9. And I quickly got into another relationship. And so did my ex-husband, like almost so fast that there was no real singleness in that process.
Got it.
And so when my partner died, I remember driving and my son looks at me and he's like, well, Mom, like, when are you going to start dating? And it had only been 3 months.
Okay.
And I turned to him and I said, like, buddy, give me a minute here, right? Like, Mike had just died. Like, I've just started breathing again. I don't even know how to navigate life.
Yeah, I can imagine. 3 months is like,
nothing. And then I realized, this is what my next purpose is. This is the assignment. I have to be single. I have to show my daughter, especially who is younger, that you don't need to immediately find another man to fill that spot, that you can be whole on your own, that you can have this full life. And for a long time, they were very sad because I was alone. Right. And I realized, okay, I have job to do. I need to show them
to do. That's good.
That this is healthy. This is fine. I don't need to be in a relationship to feel whole, to feel happy, to feel anything. And now I think, now that we're like 2.5 years later, they see it. They say, wow, Mom's pretty happy on her own. Right. Like of course I date and things like that. I'm also very, very like protective of who I would introduce my kids to. But I just think I'm having a good time. Like, your mom is loving her life. And also, you guys are my priority. You don't need a stepdad at this stage. You're 17 and 15. You got me. We might be a small little threesome family, but it's pretty great. It's pretty great. Awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I love that you're saying this. And especially right now for the ladies out there, oh my goodness, that are single mamas.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I was a single mama.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
It's so hard. It
was hard too. It was hard too. I know that. Like, you guys, yes, I know. You're like, you did? You're like, Charlene? I'm like, no. I did have 4 kids. It was a lot of moving parts. It was a lot of work. But I really had that space, like Cindy just said, to finally, for the first time in my life, to figure out Charlene.
Yeah.
Even with my busyness with the kids, I got it. And this is just bringing something up. I want to ask you something. Okay. I wrote something. I want to ask you. Okay. If someone is, okay, let me just read what I wrote. For someone struggling with betrayal or infidelity, what's one piece of hope or guidance you always share?
All right. So are you asking for the person who's being the unfaithful partner, or is the betrayed?
The betrayed.
Yeah. And it's very much not easy. I was that woman in that marriage a number of times. I think my husband, at least I knew of 3 times. Um, and I was, of course, trying to be the perfect wife. Like, I'm just going to shove it under the rug. We're never going to talk about it, which was the big mistake. And I just sort of kept on going. And what that did is just built this massive resentment that I had towards him, like so much almost disdain and hatred, and I hate to even say that word, built in me because I was holding on to all that and we didn't heal any of it or even address it.
Okay.
And so it made me feel so empty, so alone that, I'll share this with you too, is I ended up having an affair at the end of my marriage too, because I just felt like, who do you think you are? Like, to leave me feeling this way, completely empty and emotionally vacant. And I did, we talked about it and I would be upset about it and all of the things, but it just never really changed the pattern until I rebelled. And I thought, well, you know what? Fine. Like, if I need you to see me, if this is what's going to take for you to see me, then I'm going to have my own affair. Because I was also just at my wit's end and so desperate. And I actually just wanted to wake him up. And what it did wake him up. Like, he finally was able to see me and he wanted to work on the marriage. But what it did was it solidified why I needed to go. Because what I felt with this other person, I had never felt with my husband.
Got it.
And it was almost this awakening to me of this is what I needed to know and feel, that where I'm at right now isn't where I'm supposed to be.
And you already said, though, in that marriage, even before he, obviously he had these affairs, he was completely disconnected with you.
Yeah, it was completely emotionally vacant. Yeah, completely.
It was vacant. You were just kind of going through the motions with him. You were in survival mode, just getting through day by day with your children and doing your things. But you weren't in a marriage with a man that, was literally your best friend lover.
No. And I mean, I would never do that again. I feel like I was almost desperate, and that's not the advice that I'm giving at all. So I hope no one's
no, I didn't think
that just go have your own affair.
No, you guys, no, you know what I mean?
No,
like I said,
like, if I knew what I know now, and if I was an emotionally, more solid person, then I would never have chosen that path. But when you have been betrayed, really, you have the power now to decide, is this going to be the person that I can be with because I can forgive them? Because I do believe that sometimes something needs to hit rock bottom before it can be rebuilt and regrow. And if you can do that with your partner, because you know that this is what it needed to awaken you both to a different version of your marriage that you weren't experiencing and a different version of each other, I do believe that you can divorce the old version of the marriage and then start new with the same person, much like what Esther Perel always talks about, right? We can create another marriage with the same person, maybe multiple times. But it does take a really strong, evolved person to be able to see the purpose of what the affair was, not punish them so harshly. I mean, we're all going to at the beginning, but to be able to see, okay, why did this happen? What was going on in our relationship and our relational environment for you to feel that this was a place that you needed to go? Like, how was I maybe not showing up for you? Or what conversations were we not having where you felt it was easier to go outside of me? Because although it's not your fault, a big part of us should feel like, wow, how did I not make it safe here for you, that you had to choose someone else, right? And what could I do that might be able to reconnect that and make you feel safe enough to choose me? Because I think ultimately our spouses want to choose us. Yes. They're only having an affair, they didn't leave. They just had an affair, right? But they still are there. They want to choose each other. So how can we teach each other how we can be chosen in a better way? And if we can look at an affair as a lesson in that awakening of maybe it's not our fault, maybe, but 5%, maybe. Could be 5% are, we have a duty to play and a role in this relationship. What could we do? Because that's the deeper thing, is I want people to start to think about is, what did this affair represent also for my partner? Like, who did they get to be with that person that they feel they can't be with me? And can they be that person? Or have I actually shut that down? Being like, actually, no, I don't want to explore sexually that way, or I don't like it when you talk to me this way, or be emotionally available, or whatever it is. But usually affairs are often because we get to be a version of ourselves that we can't be in this relationship. So what is that? And if we can really find out what that is and open ourselves up to having those hard conversations of discovery together, I do believe that you can heal and create something really beautiful. But it has to be from that place of, I really want to do this and I want to be able to learn from this and not just be the victim of this story, right?
That's good. That's really good. I believe in that too. Like I said, today wow, this is such a great conversation, Cindy. Today we are really talking about, really being truthful and honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, we avoid it because it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm asking all of us, like, seriously, go through it. Go through it. Because when you have that ability to really listen to what she just said and talk to your person, because that's what I believe, Cindy. I believe a lot of a lot of these things obviously can shift, can change, but people have to start being able. You know what I call it? Like microscopic honest.
Yeah.
And really advocate for that.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not talking like that to our partner, and we're just shutting down or avoiding it or whatever that is, that's our responsibility. That's really our responsibility.
Yeah.
Because we have to be able to say, oh my gosh, baby, we don't talk. What can we do? I love you so much.
Yeah.
We're disconnected.
Yeah.
I feel lonely. Will you let's do something. Baby, I'm lonely. I want to, I feel like every time, I say something to you, you just get so hyper and you get so triggered. What's going on? You have to be able to really be vulnerable in that respect and just have that courage to say it, because being silent,
yeah.
Cindy, is it the worst or what? Being silent?
It is the worst. And when speaking of betrayal, I'll often say to my clients, I said, when you are avoiding those hard conversations, when you're avoiding that conflict, you're betraying yourself and your partner. And this has nothing to do with another person outside the marriage. You are already betraying them because you are pretending that everything is okay by not addressing everything when it's not. That's the bigger betrayal to me. Bigger than someone outside of it is when you're living that everyday life, completely avoiding the real, truthful, hard conversations and trying to connect because we don't know how to, or we're too scared to because it hasn't landed well in the past. And I mean, and go back to like this idea of using an affair as a time to learn. I get it. A lot of people cannot do it. And I completely am not like holy grail. Oh my God, everyone can do this. I get it. If you can't, you do not have to. Don't feel like, this is has to be the reason. Like you feel like this is your bottom line and they've crossed it and you can't be in a relationship like that, then be okay with being done. You are okay to be done. That's it.
You actually, if that is the case, what Cindy just said, you guys, 100%. If you're in a relationship and that is, you're like, oh, that was my last straw. That is one thing. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to feel like you have every right to not worry about, oh, should I be more? No. You'll know. Right, Cindy? Don't they know?
You'll know. You'll know just based on who you're with, that you'll know whether or not this is going to repair you or this is a line that you there's no coming back for you.
There's no coming back.
And then be honest and truthful and respect that boundary. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I think so too. And you know what? So I know we're coming to a close and I'm like, oh, no. So hold on. Because I want to, Cindy, it's going too fast. What just happened? Like what? Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I want to make sure I asked you something. Let me see. Decide where does it go? What are some of the signs? Okay, divorce often. Okay, I just want to make sure. So, two folds here, because we have been talking today, Cindy, to married women and single women. Really cool. Okay. Yeah. So I want to finish with talking to both of them. I want you to message both of them.
Yeah.
And Cindy, come back, because we gotta go a little deeper here. Please come back. I want them to hear more of your story, Cindy. Okay.
Okay.
So Cindy goes too fast. I'm telling you.
No.
Okay. So I want to finish it here. I want Cindy to, because we've been speaking to both ladies here. Okay. So I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to have you answer to my single ones. I'm going to have you answer to my ladies that are married. Okay. So to my single ladies, Cindy, that let's say they have been married before. Okay. And they, the marriage is done. And they're struggling, Cindy. They're struggling with the shame. They're struggling with like, ooh, how am I going to do this again? Are there really good men out there? Is it possible? All the things.
Yeah.
What do you want to say to them?
That you are so worthy of the love that you deserve, but that you will only receive the love you feel worthy of. So the moment that love starts to change, that you look at life and okay, love can be different, love can be better, love can be, healthier than what I had. It has to start with working on you, because we will only ever end up with what we feel like we deserve, right? And we will choose only the level that we think that we're worthy of. And we will tolerate someone's behavior only to the level that we think that we're worthy of too. So to change that in ourselves, we need to know that we're worthy of more. And don't be afraid of setting the bar high and feel like, oh, I'm never going to reach it, or I'm going to have to settle, or it's not coming really easily. Things happen. God, universe, there's a plan for you. And it might not be as quickly as you want it to be. For me, I know that's the case. I'm like, why is that happening? But at the same time, I trust that if you continue to hold into that energy of worthiness, that I know I'm worthy of this, I know that I'm worthy of more, and I'm not going to settle for less than that. You will never have to worry about abandoning yourself again, which is likely what happened in the first marriage, right?
I love that. Oh, yeah. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? So ladies, you're worthy.
You are.
You really are. Like, we're saying that with all of our love and all of our hearts.
Yeah.
You're worthy.
Worthy.
And I love that Cindy just said, you know what? It's okay. Yeah. She was married. Obviously, it didn't work out. And it's okay. And then she was able again, you guys, honestly, she was able to fall in love and just feel all the things and have this incredible relationship. Then the guy passed away. And now you're listening to a woman who this is her mission in life, to help us all know that we are worthy, that, life will go on, and we're going to be okay. And we got to take care of ourselves first and love on ourselves. And now she's open again. Look at her. Look at her. She's so pretty and so happy. Like, she's open because she's in such a great place. So that's what I'm talking about. It's not necessarily right now getting the man, ladies. No. It's the peace. Listen, let's get into Cindy's world. It's the peace that she has. Now, absolutely. She's open. She's like, oh, yes. Yes, yeah. I'm not shutting my heart down. I absolutely would love to have, a man again, that we're in alignment and all that when the right time comes. Yeah. She knows that. Yeah. She don't feel the desperateness. You're not in a rush.
No. And I think that's the thing too, is don't go into dating feeling like you have to lock it in.
Yeah.
Because if you go into dating with this whole like, oh my gosh, like I heard there's terrible men out there. So there's no men out there. Dating apps suck. Well, guess what you're going to find? All of the bad men and the apps are going to suck. Where if you go in with an open mind, like, actually, it's quite nice meeting new people. It's quite
Yes.
nice being taken out for dinner or to meet up
Yes.
with someone new and have a drink and just learn their story.
Yes.
You don't have to be marrying this person.
Nope.
You don't have to lock it in. You don't have anything, but it's just this
Nope.
beautiful opportunity to just have a good time with
Yes.
someone new and just let it happen. And if something sparks, great. And if it doesn't, great.
It's
But
okay.
just get yourself looking at it from a different lens of this is fun. What's wrong with this? It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right?
I love that. That's exactly how it is. And here we go for the married women, okay? For my married ladies. I'm married. I get it, okay? I'm married.
Yeah.
If they are in a marriage, Cindy, and they are struggling?
Mm-hmm.
They're in a marriage and they're like, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? What's going on? I'm not sure if I'm in a situation. Should I leave or should I go? Can this change? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel lonely. Something's off. He's not changing. I need him to change. You know?
Yeah.
What if that's going on?
You know that there are so many layers to that. It's not one piece of the pie, but it does almost reflect very similarly to what I would have said to the single ladies. Like, what are you tolerating here that you don't believe you're worthy of more? You know, are you just staying out of fear or out of love? Because if it's out of fear, then you don't think you're worthy of more. And if it's out of love, then yes, it's an opportunity for you to go deeper into this and look at what's not working. But we should never stay somewhere because we're too scared of what else could be out there or what else is not going to be out there or what we're going to be losing. Because the loss of staying somewhere that's really unhappy is far greater than the pain of being single.
That's beautiful.
You know?
So same thing, guys. we got to do some discovery. And I said earlier, and Cindy said earlier, if you are married, she has, say it again, what you have available for them.
Yeah. So I do what's called the relationship audit. And it's like a deep dive assessment into your relationship to just really see what's truly going on. And it's very different than therapy because I would guarantee you that a lot of you out here listening have been if you're going to therapy, you've been going for a really long time, having the exact same conversations and really feel like you're getting nowhere. And you're spending a lot of money on it, I'm sure. But the assessment that I do is really targeted to give you clear, direct, data-driven answers on what's truly going on. So if there are areas in your relationship that are breaking down, you know exactly where those are. And I will give you strategies to start to work on fixing those. And if it is the amount, it comes down to, listen, like your relationship has kind of run its course and you're at the end, it only just then solidifies something that you are likely already feeling, but you now get to see it in real results, to give yourself permission to feel like, okay, it's not just a feeling, it's a knowing, and here's why I'm feeling this way. And so you get to make that decision from a really empowered place, not from this place of just emotional devastation, exhaustion, because you're done, right?
Oh, yeah. I love that. Cindy, how do they get into your world? How can they work with you? Where should they find you?
Yeah, well, come over to Instagram. That is where I live at cindy.stibbard. I'm actually just reached 100,000 followers. So I do have a link.
Yeah, yay! Congratulations. She's making such a difference. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So I do, and because of that, I'm celebrating it until October 31st. I'm giving $100 off the relationship audit for anyone who books between now and October 31st. So there's a link in my bio. If you go to my website, cindystibbard.com, there's a link.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much for this incredible conversation. Thank you for all the things that you shared today. It was honestly, I'm just so honored to have you on the show. And to next time, cheers to great love. If you're loving this podcast and these incredible conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave a 5-star review. Don't miss an episode because each week I'll be bringing on guests and experts who will share their knowledge about love, dating, and relationships so you can apply it into your own life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.